Welcome back to Tabletop to another day on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels. It's me, it's Trent, here to show you a brand new deck yet again. And today I have brought us something a little bit weird. It's called Mathmech. You are correct. I am Asian, therefore I love math and mecha and anime and many other things, I assume. Rice? Yeah, sure. But anyway, moving back to our conversation. Today's deck is going to be a little bit weird. I think it's one of the strongest ones we've crafted so far, and it definitely does have the potential to go very high up there. And the way this one works is it can be a huge can, and we can win in turn 1 if we go second, or we can set ourselves really well on turn 2. So how Mathmech works is that this one in particular is very special. It can summon itself from your hand or your graveyard if you don't have nothing inside the extra monster zone. You're going to use Balancer Lord in order to summon an additional Cyber's monster to your field as well. And the subtraction in addition allows you to special summon them from your hand if you just add 1,000 or minus 1,000 respectively. The diameter is pretty good too, because when he's normal summoned, you can special summon from the graveyard, so he's good to have later on, along with Parallel Exceed, who is really strong, who can special summon himself and find another copy of himself into the deck. So there's plenty of ways of recur value here. And Firewall Guardian, if we use him as link summoning material, he comes back to the field, but we banish him when it leaves. Of course, there are detriments and everything else. And how this deck usually works is that you're meant to combine all these factors together in order to produce one giant board that they can never get back from, or produce something so strong that they cannot interrupt you on. Diameter has the ability where if you also use it as summoning material for, I believe, XYZ material, you can have a quick effect for that turn only. We can negate an activation of a card or effect, which is why we need to have them inside our combination at the very end. Subtraction doesn't really do anything, addition doesn't do anything. When they are XYZ summoned, all they do is that they can special summon themselves, which you kind of want, because you want these inside the graveyard. To use again with Super Factorial, which gets our cards back. I'll show you this combination because it's very difficult to picture, but trust me, when I show it to you, you'll be all like, wow, how did you even think about this? Why did anyone even think that this was peak Yu-Gi-Oh? And Dabbler's over here because he can tribute summon himself as well. We also have 2 copies of Albereton, which allows us to tribute and find our trap card over here. We also have La Belicion, which allows us to remove tree material, to remove a card from my opponent's hand, to remove a monster from their field, and remove 1 magic or trap card. It's fucking nuts. This requires tree summoning material, which is why we use it with the trap card over here and summon it inside their turn. They literally are down. They normal summon, they put a card down, and they have 1 card in hand. So what you have to do is you remove the card from their field, you remove the card from the spell zone, you remove a card from their hand, and it just generates you a value engine that they cannot get back from unless they're playing something that can play from the graveyard. Like I said, Drytons, Virtual World, a lot of kings that can do so, but otherwise it will lock them out of the game, and we can pretty much win. Geometric is pretty good as well, because how he works is that any damage inflicted on the opponent is doubled if it's battle damage, right? So with 3,000 attack points, if we hit something that has 1,000 attack points, that's 2,000 damage. However, with his effect, it goes to 4,000, but it gets even nuttier. Because Nabla, when you sacrifice him, you can pick a monster to the extra monster zone, and you can make it do an additional attack. So 2 monster attacks. So that's 4,000 damage if these... and so that's 8,000 damage, assuming that we attack 2 things with 1,000. But we can even make this work even further, because multiplication allows us to, when it is summoned or sent to the graveyard, we can give the ability, we can double the attack power of one of our monsters, which is insane. So something like Access Code Talker with 4,000 attack points inside the monster zone, extra monster zone, multiply by 2, that's 8,000. That's a 1-hit KO. And there's so many 1-hit KOs inside this deck. And we can also set up the board in such a way that IP Masquerena can make us invincible, or we have Wicked to protect us until the battle phase as well if we want to go that route. And I'll show you guys different variations of gameplay. I don't want to stay too long on this explanation because I know for a fact that it's very tinky. It requires a lot of combinations for us to like get to the board state that we need to go to in order for us to win the game. And I'll show you guys how it's all going to work. But just recall this, I'm only using 2 sets of silent mining because I don't have a turret copy. If I did, I would just remove some of these things. Foolish Burial is here in case we need to put like a Sigma into the graveyard, or populate the graveyard with a diameter to give it a special effect when we are XYZ summoning, just in case for the next turn. Pot of Desires is pretty good as well, because once we're done with our combinations, we don't really care about the rest of the deck. So we don't really mind. Like, in general, I think Pot of Desires is a really strong card compared to most of the other pots, because in this kind of deck composition, you want your extra deck, so you can't use Pot of Prosperity at all. Which is why Pot of Desire is good. Because even if you banish stuff, you don't really miss the rest of the things once you grab out all the key pieces that are already inside your graveyard. It's nuts. Forbidden Droplet I put in here because Tritons are a thing. Tritons are scary. And with Forbidden Chalice, they can respond to us doing so. So we go to what was it? We go to negate them. They just use a spell, or they just use a herald in order to negate our activation. If we use Forbidden Droplet, they are not able to do anything in response if we discard 2 cards, which is either a magic card and a monster card. This way the monster effects only trigger and the magic effects only trigger, and they cannot do anything to that for the rest of the turn, which is pretty nuts. But this is kind of like I would say it's nice to have. You can sub it in for Droplet if you want to. Like, everything inside here is a work in progress. It's definitely very high end. It's definitely very strong, but it's definitely not finalized by any means. There are many other ways you can approach this. 2 Cobbler Grades I think is pretty good. I put Quilling Twisters in here because you can use it to discard things and put things in. I put 2 Nablas in here because his ability is kind of clutch and it happens a lot more often than you think. But yeah, that is how Mathmechs work. I gave you a general guideline of how this is going to work out or play out, which is why we should hit right into the gameplay. So, without any further ado, it's time to duel. Okay, very weird. We're on the play as well. So, let's see what we can get here. Multiplication, it's not going to do anything. We do need some more monsters inside the graveyard. So we can use Forbidden Droplet later on to do so, but now is not the time to do it. Let's risk it for a biscuit. Turn 1, Pod Desires. It's painful, but we need one more special summon monster to get any of our combos going. Hopefully we don't lose anything too important. We lost a Maxi. Firewall, Guardian, Diameter. Opponent's gonna enjoy Springs. I'm fine with that. Because now we're in more of an even ground here. Lost an Exceed. So we still have 2 in the deck. If we draw into 1. Diameter, we already have 1. Firewall Guardian, we have 2 left. 2 more Maxis. Sigmas, we have 2 Sigmas left. Yeah, it's not too bad of things we just lost. Issue now is how we're going to play this. Droplet. And we'll say go. Because we can max seed to grab our cards back from him. And we can potentially one-punch them with multiplication here. We can't go into our chain combo because we still need more creatures on the field. Okay, it's life. C'est la vie. Nope, go ahead. There goes the Droplet. So they had 2 hand traps. And they are playing Sky Strikers. Go for it. If you're going to summon it now. Because it's still on the chain. No! Combat the grave? How dare you? How dare you? Okay. So won't be able to draw an extra card. Our opponent just having the perfect fucking hand. Look at this. Lightning Storm, Ash Blossom, and a Call by the Grave, and a Ray. You couldn't ask for a better... And they're on the fucking draw as well. So they get an extra card, and they get to attack us with Hayate. Hayate. Jesus Christ. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So they triggered their abilities now. God damn. Yep, Shizuku. Draw your pathetic card. There you go. There's the Mobilize, which allows them to get a card and draw a card. Value. Draw! Lightning Storm. That's a play. That is a play. Is it D play though? That's the question. So we activate Lightning Storm. We can remove this Then they'll just get another activation from Shizuku. Because they're going to go into another Shizuku here. So the best thing to do actually is to play this defense mode and say go. Oh boy. Because if we attack into it, people are going to be like, oh, Trent, why didn't you just remove the Shizuku? Because removing Shizuku means that she'll get the Ray out. And when she gets the Ray out, she can quick summon, or quick effect, to summon their Striker Ace from the thing there. And what she's going to do is she's going to like use Shizuku again, and then they'll be up another card. So we don't want to give them the advantage there. Granted, they can already start chaining up quite a bit. But this is fine. Even if they destroy our card, which is our multiplication, we can still use Diameter to grab it back. Oh, really? That's very strange. Why didn't you go into Hayate and attack me for face and get more cards at the graveyard? I suppose you already have Tree, but it thins out your deck. And you can also grab another card for turn. I suppose you can just... Can you sacrifice Shizuku to herself? Yeah, I suppose you can. No, non-water, so she can't go to herself. So this has to go to Hayate or Kagari, I assume, to grab a card back. Alright, boss monster spotted. End phase. Interesting. Drop a turn. All the removal in the world. All the removal in the world. It's only when we sync or summon. Or XC summon that we can negate the effects, right? Okay, cool. So if that works the way I think it works, we can try to one punch them, I guess. Here we go. Diameter, come on in. Okay. Activate the effect. Multiplication, come on in. Activate the effect, or summon our Geomech, because multiplication targeting Diameter means that we can turn Diameter to a level 8, which is why we can synchro summon this thing right now. So, sacrificing Diameter, sacrificing Multiplication. Put our monster into the extra monster zone, because while he's in there, he cannot be affected by any effect except his own. That we choose, anyway. Diameter gave him the ability to negate one card per turn for this turn to be summoned. We'll use this in order to gain extra, well, double our attack points to around, well, 6,000. Yeah, you can do that, but yeah, it won't work. The app won't work on Mecha. No. I suppose we can do this for shits and giggles. We can activate the effect of Geomech, who has gained the ability to negate a spell this turn. So, see? Once per turn, special summoned, negate. We don't need to do that, but sure. Why not? Why not? Because I think we just about won this. So 4,200 times 2 is 8,400. Yeah. There we go. So this is 4,100. So that's 8,200. Yeah. So we go to the next battle phase, and we attack for the win. There's no quick responses here. They have something in their hand or on the field. But no, one punch. So, to explain what just happened there, I think I already did it, but over here is where we can see where they went wrong. They should have got more Shizukus out and other ways of negating that. No, not really. There wasn't any much things that they can do there once the geometric was done. I think if they had the thing over here, which allows them to control the card, was it? Was that the... Yeah, this is the one. Negate the effect. What they should have negated was they should have negated the ability of diameter. Well, no, of multiplication. Because when I turn to a level 8, then we can synchro summon into diameter. Because then we have 12, which allows us to bring out our boss monster. And our boss monster is unaffected by card effects, except for Mathmech cards, while in the extra monster zone. So we can still target it with our own abilities. And whenever multiplication goes to the graveyard, we target one monster inside our extra monster zone and double their attack to double their attack. So it goes from 3,000 to 6,000. And from 6,000, the ability of Sigma is that whenever it destroys a thing by battle, you do double the amount of damage that battle damage has inflicted to the opponent. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. Because even if I didn't have the ability of diameter, which gave us the ability to quick effect and negate for this turn, the thing is that even if it went true, he is not affected by card effects. He is immune to being controlled. He is my bitch, no one else's. And you see, this is how you win in like one turn. Just smack him really, really hard. Ah, man. Going first again. Jesus Christ. Will this game ever stop? Okay. So the play to make here is to play Nabla first of all over yonder. Just put him to the side, you know, we're not going to care. We're going to activate the effect of subtraction. We're going to minus 1,000 points from Nabla. Putting subtraction onto the battlefield as such. Easy enough. Activate the next ability, which is we're going to Link Chain. Link Disciple. Go ahead. Sacrificing subtraction. Putting into the graveyard. Noting that we have one Mathmech inside the graveyard. Putting the card over here. One out. Coming out, my friend. Disciple. As you enter the battlefield, parallel effects will now trigger, which is whenever we link summon, we can summon him, special summon him, onto a place that is currently being pointed at, which is over here. And when we special summon an Exceed monster, we are able to put another parallel Exceed onto the battlefield from our deck. Just free, not even a token, an actual monster, and they become level 4s into the end of the turn. So from here, we can actually XYZ if we wanted to, but I don't think that's what the play to make is, if we're going to be honest. So from here, we're going to use... We can go into Link Devotee, as you guys seen before, but that's not the play here, because that will lock us out of Cyber's Tree, which I don't think we kind of want to do just yet, at least this turn. I mean, we might. Let's see how it goes. We can go for a Wicked, first of all. Yeah. Putting E2 in, putting down the Wicked. Wicked is unable to be destroyed by battle or card effects. And whenever it's pointing to a Cyrus monster, they are also immune to being destroyed by card effects. They can, however, be destroyed by monster effects. The second effect of the Wicked is that whenever we trigger the ability of Wicked, where we special summon into a zone, we are actually able to... banish a card from our graveyard. And then special summon a Ting. No, and find a tuner monster, apologies. The play to make here is to put that parallel Exceed, put that down over there, go into you, finding you. Is that the play? That would be the play, wouldn't it? So we take away Nabla, we take away the Exceed, put down a XYZ summon monster, which is La Pinch. Such a summon. So we put down Pinch here. Not Pinch. Alabed. I will special summon him there. We can find our trap card, but we won't have enough Xyz monsters in there just yet. So we need one more for this effect to work. So we'll get rid of Parallel. The card we want to get out is Diameter, because then we can negate their effects next turn. You can also get Sigma if you think that it'd be better for you to rebuild that way. But for now, we're going to use the Wicked's effect to banish a card from our graveyard. We're going to remove one of these Excels, or Exceeds. Again, noting very carefully of the elements that we're currently putting in, because that will be relevant later. The card to grab here is going to be Sigma, because he's the last card that we haven't had yet. We can also take down a Diameter to rebuild next turn. But the turn to do here is to go into Album. As such, put him out over here. Coming out, my friend. Apparition. Using the effect of Apparition, we are going to do this. We are going to remove 2. Finding our trap card, Super Factorial. Put it onto the battlefield. We can now sacrifice Alibran to himself. Putting out the Sigma. Now we did that. We have 1, 2. We already have trade in the graveyard, so it doesn't matter too much what we do here. Put out the Sigma. We can sacrifice it to the Wicked and the Sigma. That way allowing us to find a IP Masquerena so we can do a thing during their turn if our stuff doesn't work out the way we think. Go into the Unicorn after that, wouldn't it? We had better to do this, because then we can use Super Factorial and be immune from the destruction from 1 turn. I think that's the play as well. That's also a good play. Or Unicorn means we get rid of this, and then we can get rid of another thing that's theirs as well. What is the play here? I can also special summon Sigma as well. Then we get rid of the Wicked and put him down here as a different monster as Sigma. 2 into your thing. Then they can just sweep us up in the first turn. You know what? We're just gonna go with this. I think this board state is what I want to keep it at. Okay, opponent. Yeah, go ahead. Just gonna maxi this while we can. Because they could draw into a solution then, but they already had a solution in hand. Strange that they kept it during our entire turn. Because they could have interrupted the combo. Alright, 6 cards in hand, opponent. What you gonna do? Silent Mining, okay. Getting rid of another pot. There's Lady Debug. So are we playing a mirror match? No, this is the other variation of it, isn't it? This is Code Talker. Target one of those monsters out of Cyberse, okay. It's been a while since I've seen the Toad Talker variant here. This one's not really an issue for us. If a Code Talker monster is special summon from the extra deck to your field, you can detach... You can target one of those monsters, add a Cyberse monster with the same attribute from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra decks, except for Cyberse monsters. Rest of the turn. We're going to use Factorial here. Because with Ladybug, they can just find Cyberse Secretary, which lets them special summon if they have a Cyberse monster on the battlefield. So we're going to do it like this. Like this. And like this. Mm-hmm. Put you out. Put you out. Put you out. Gonna summon into our Lapleech. Come over here. And when he's summoned, we can attach 3 materials from him. Along with negating an effect. So with Diameter, I can do this now. Okay, so we can banish a card, or we take the effect to happen first. So what's in our graveyard? We can move the Exceed later, but we can do this now. So we use Lapletion. Remove, remove, remove. Activate the effect of Wicked as well. Banish a card. We're going to banish our last Exceed, actually. Or Link Disciple, actually. Do we have a light monster? Yeah, we do. So we want to get rid of Link Disciple, because this could be a game winner next turn. On resolution, we get a card from our deck. Gonna take out another Diameter. A pinch. Effect happens, randomly discard a card, send a card to a graveyard, then send one of these magic cards to the graveyard. There we go. Sign a conflict. Okay. Opponents should be currently locked out if you're playing the Cyber's variation that I think they are, which is true. So, drop a turn. There's subtraction. So we basically got lethal on board now. So it's 4,800. We just need a couple more points of damage, which is honestly easy enough to do here. If we are doing this correctly, we can use Nabla to find access code talker. So we can do this. Put you out. Using disability, we can remove subtraction. Removing subtraction, we will be able to special summon out Nabla. Nabla now on the battlefield will sacrifice Wicked, finding ourselves multiplication over here. Then we special summon Sigma, because why not? Then we link summon into Access Code Talker, but the highest link we have is 2, so that's still 8,000 damage. I think that is the play to make here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put you all out. Coming out, my friend. Access Code Talker. Ability, when he enters the battlefield. We're just going to activate these first. Multiplication. We're going to double your power. We are going to do this as well. Let you attack twice, but there's no need to. Summon Resolution. Nabla will Resolute. And then Multiplication will trigger, doubling the power. Oh, I fucked up. I should have used a link monster. It has to be a monster that was used as link material. I forgot that. That's okay. This is over here. Damage effect. Also summon another monster here. Okay. As you guys can see, that's lethal on board. It could have been better. We could have doubled it after we used link material. So I should have linked summon beforehand, but I think I didn't want to make the opponent wait too long. The game was over already. GG's, Yoshini. And welcome back to the post-game wrap. I think I showed you everything I needed to do for today. I showed you the one-hit combo that can win us the game. I've showed you how we can play around spells that will wipe out our board, as well as using extra material inside our decks as we need them if they become relevant. And one thing I couldn't really showcase today was IP Masquerina's combination with a few things, because we could have used her to go into the Unicorn or to remove their stuff. But seeing as how the Laplacian was being played, it wasn't necessary to do so. The problem was that timing Laplacian requires you to know a little bit about the metagame, or not even the metagame, just the cards in general, as to what you can remove and what you can't remove. And after a bit of time experimenting with all these decks, you kind of see where the cracks are and where it is that, you know, you can do better, or where it is that you can interrupt their play so that you can deal the most amount of damage with them. As we can see from the Cybers game that we just did there, it was very easy for the Cybers deck to chain and get off, especially with everything on the field. The issue there was that we removed the Ladybug before they have an opportunity to summon again. They won't be able to special summon because they require things, because I know for a fact Cybers require stuff in order to special summon themselves, unless you're using things like these Mathmechs, which you probably should instead of things like that. But there's the Code Talker decks are actually pretty strong as well, and I hope to do one of those that day too. But yeah, that's the video for today, everyone. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe, and yeah, put down in the comments below what you guys would like to see next, or what you think I could have done better. And definitely in the future, I will be doing another deck tech where we can use IP Masquerina to her fullest effect, and that's going to be very obvious. But you're going to support the channel in other ways as well. You can check out our website, tabletop.ie, where we sell trading card goods, and you'll be supporting the business and the channel. But until next time, everyone, thanks for watching.